Hey there, I'm Adrienne, and this is a quick functional core class. Now, what do I mean when I say functional core? Well, your core is so much more than just your abdominal muscles. Your core is really all the muscles that make up your trunk or your torso. So that includes the muscles around your spine, the muscles around your shoulder complex, your diaphragm, your glutes and your pelvis, as well as your abdominal muscles. So this is going to be a practice to create stability through our trunk or our torso, because that's really the definition of a functional core. The more stability we have through our center, the more mobility and freedom we'll have in our extremities, in our legs and our arm and our neck and our heads. So this practice is going to be exploring that idea, and we'll need a couple of things for practice. You'll want a blanket or a pillow, and then you'll also need a resistance band. So this is just a resistance band. I got a pack of them off Amazon, nothing special. Mine is a lightweight one because we're really just using the resistance band in this class to provide feedback. But if you want more challenge, you can always up the resistance of your band. So feel free to pause this video, grab whatever you need, and then meet me back here when you're ready. And when you are ready, we'll start on our backs. So I have the blanket back here and it's folded up a couple of times to support my head. And you do want the band within reach. So make sure you put that by your head for when you lay down. And go ahead and come down onto your back, using the blanket or the pillow just underneath the head, not underneath the back of the shoulders. And then take your feet to the ground with your knees bent. And then rest your fingers on your lower ribs. So just take a moment to palpate around, touching the bottom of the ribs, finding that edge, just so you have an idea or a sense of where the rib cage ends and the abdominal start. And you'll notice right now that there's probably some give to that area, right? You can push into that area and you'll be able to press your fingers around. Now, we're going to start to wake up our functional core, actually by working our diaphragm and exploring how our breath is really that first gateway into having a more functional core. So take a nice deep breath in through your nose, deep breath out, and then deep breath in through your nose, fill up all the way to the top. And then I want you to blow up an imaginary balloon through your mouth. So nice and slow, exhale. And go all the way to the bottom of that breath. We'll do that a few times. So inhale completely. Continue to breathe just like that. And you'll notice that once you get towards the bottom of that breath, you feel that your abs actually begin to contract. And you may even feel that your ribs move towards each other and down. So do it 1 or 2 more times, breathing in completely. One last time. So this is alone is just a great way to connect to a more healthy way of activating your core. You'll notice it's different than bracing or tightening, right? There's just this awakening sensation through your abdominals. All right, let's go ahead and grab our bands. Just place that off to the side for a moment, and then bring your left knee in towards your chest, give yourself a little squeeze, and then switch it out. Good, do that a couple times. Just warming up our hips and our spine a bit. Good. All right, take your band, and you'll take the band in your hands. Take your hands wider than your shoulders. but not too wide because this is a resistance band. So when you pull out, it's gonna go wide, but grab just a little bit wider than shoulder width. Now start to pull your band apart. Take a breath in, blow up your balloon, and feel how that anchors the back of your ribs down towards the ground. That's what we want to maintain as we go through these movements. So think back of your ribs into the floor, pull the band apart. You can stay here, or you can start to bring your arms up overhead, continuing to pull the band apart. Now, keep the back of your ribs on the floor, bring your left knee up, and then your right knee up. So we're in a dead bug position, knees are stacked over hips. And just check in, you want the lower back to have just a little bit of space so that we're honoring the natural curvatures of our spine. But notice if that makes your front ribs pop up. So just a little bit of space underneath your lower back, but anchor those front ribs down and in. And already this is gonna start to feel like some work for your core. Now, keep pulling the strap apart, flex your feet, without moving your spine or your hips. So you're gonna keep your spine connected just as it is to the ground. Touch your right heel towards the ground. It doesn't have to touch, see if it can, bring it back. And then left foot down, bring it back. We're gonna go back and forth, nice and slow. Try to maintain the back of your ribs connected to the earth. Keep pulling that strap apart or the band apart. Feet are flexed. If you're shaken, that's good. We're challenging those core muscles. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, you can do it. And 1, go ahead and relax. Take your band down, shake it out. Good. All right, now take your band around the ball of your left foot and grab the band in your left hand, and you want the band on the outside of the left leg. So you can grab the band more towards the outside of the left thigh. Come back into your dead bug position. Knees stacked over hips. Once again, check in with your spine, back of the ribs pressed down. And I recommend for these that as you extend your leg, we're going to be pushing out with this left leg, that you breathe out with the balloon breath when you push out. So think leg out, breath out, and then inhale to come back. Right hand to your right knee, straighten your arm, and then pull your right knee back in towards your chest. So you're creating resistance. So the arm stays straight, but the knee pulls in. Already you're gonna feel some awakening through that right side. Keep that connection, and then extend the leg out, breathe out. Bring it back. Extend, bring it back. Let's do 3 more. Try to keep your spine still, back of the ribs on the ground. Last one. On this last one, we're gonna hold for 5, 4, pull that right knee in towards your chest for 3, 2, 1, bring it back, switch it out. Going right into the other side. Grab the strap or the band into your right hand, back into your dead bug position. Left hand to your left knee, pull the knee in, press it away with your left hand, creating that resistance. Check in with your spine. Back of the ribs on the floor, tiny bit of space underneath your lower back. Keep the resistance through your left side, and then straighten your right leg out, breathe out, bring it back. Bring it back. Good, we've got 3 more. Back of the ribs on the floor, so if you need to bring your foot a little higher to do that, that's okay. Last one, this last one we're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bring it back. Nice job. Take your strap off or band off. Arms up overhead, big inhale, big exhale. All right, let's make our way up into tabletop pose. So however you want to come on up, We're gonna come onto all fours. Now you have a couple options here. You can use your blanket underneath your knees if you have some knee sensitivity. I'm actually going to use the blanket underneath my wrists because my wrists have been feeling a little bit sensitive lately. So that's also another option. What I'm gonna be doing is taking the heel of my hand to the blanket and my fingers off the blanket. That just provides me a little bit extra cushion and support. So you can do the same if your wrists have been bothering you. Now, before we come into our quadruped or tabletop, take the band, you'll bring the band around your back, and you want the band at the lower rib cage. So just underneath the backs of the shoulders, tips of the shoulder blades. And then right about where the bra line is, if you're a person that wears bras, right around, kind of right underneath that armpit. So right underneath the breast tissue as well. That's about where we want the band. And then we'll make our way, hold the band in either hand, and we'll make our way onto all fours. Hands are about shoulder width. And I just hooked the band. This is how my band is hooked. It's hooked underneath my thumb right here, and it comes out through my index finger and my thumb. So you can find a good position that feels good for you. And then knees are underneath the hips. And I just want you to press your lower ribs into the band and then release. And we're just getting a sensation for pulling those front ribs up and in, and then releasing down. And this is a foundational movement for doing anything like a plank pose, because we want to be able to pull those front ribs up and in. This creates core stability. Now, the next time that you push the back of your ribs into your band, I just want you to check in. If you're like me, sometimes you'll go into this tuck of the tailbone as well, and you'll round through the whole back. But we want to maintain the natural curvatures of the spine, just like we were doing on our backs. So push the back of your ribs up into the band, and then you can even tuck and untuck your tailbone and try to find a neutral position so that you still have that little bit of inward curve for the lumbar spine, and then your thoracic spine, your upper back, curves outward. So just play around with that, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just working on creating that awareness. And then from here, keep pushing the ribs up into the strap. We want to maintain this position. Try not to move much else. Slightly shift your weight into the right knee and send your left leg back, toes on the floor to start. Keep pushing your ribs up into the strap. Lift your left leg. Notice if you shifted to the right, try to keep your weight equally distributed between the hands. Bring your left knee down. We'll move to the other side. So push down through that left knee, anchor down through the hands, send your right leg back. Keep pushing your ribs up into the band, lift your right leg. Only so much as you can maintain that connection. So if you feel your ribs drop, you've gone a little bit too far. Good, bring it back. Now see if you can just extend the leg straight back. Send that left leg back. Bring it down. Extend the right leg back. Bring it down. Keep pushing your ribs up into the strap. Try not to let the strap relax. We're gonna do that just a couple more times. Good, and then relax. Shake out your hands. All right, so now we're gonna play around with moving into a plank pose. So same thing, you want that band right around the bra line or so there. Hands down. Push the back of your ribs up into the strap. Check in with your pelvis, neutral pelvis here. And then step your left leg back. Try not to move anything else, best you can. There will be a little bit of movement, that's okay, but as much stability as we can create, that's what we want. And then step that right leg back. You're gonna hold here, pushing your ribs up into the strap. Keep the neutral pelvis. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your knees down. Take a breath. And then we're going to add a little bit more fun. So this is going to be moving in and out of a plank to a bear hover. If you don't know what a bear hover is, I'm going to show you. So push the back of your ribs up into the strap, curl your toes under, and then see if you can just hover your knees. We're not lifting the booty up high. We just want to pick the knees up off the floor. Push the back of your ribs into the strap, step your left foot back, right foot back. Right foot in, keeping your knees hovered, left knee in. Keep pushing your ribs up into the strap. We're gonna move back and forth, switching sides. That you lead with, I mean. Good. Keep pushing those ribs up. We're gonna go for 5, 4, 3, 2. Try to keep your booty level. And 1, we're gonna hold in our bear hover. Come back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down. Whew. Shake it out. Very nice job. All right, so the last exercise we're gonna do in quadruped is moving the arms and the legs. So same thing, we want the band around the lower ribs, right where we've been putting it. Push the band up. So now, extend your left leg back. Bring the weight into your left hand. Try to stay centered though. We're not shifting from side to side. Try to stay nice and centered here. And then take a hold of your band with your right hand. Reach your right hand forward. So you'll see here, the band is kind of underneath my arm. My palm is in. I'm holding onto the band with my index finger and my thumb. Push the back of your ribs up into the band. Good, bring it down. Switch it out. Right leg back. Left arm forward. Good, bring it down. We'll do that one more time on each side. Good, and relax. Shake it out. The very last thing that we're gonna do here is practice a plank pose without the band, because the band is just there to really give us that, what it's like to push the back of the ribs up, right? For a lot of people, we collapse when we do a plank pose, or a lot of these other positions like quadruped. We just kind of hang out here and let the ribs drop forward, not a lot of engagement in the shoulders. So the band was providing us feedback so that we understand how to pull those front ribs up and in. So make your way into tabletop. Imagine that you have the band there, so you're gonna push the back of your ribs up, neutral pelvis. Good. Step back plank. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come on down. Whew. And then let's just give a little bit of love to our wrists. So you can make some circles with the wrists, shake out the hands, open and close the hands. And then take the backs of your hands on the floor. You can do this in a tabletop pose or sitting on your heels like I am, but just back of the hand on the floor, fingers pointing back towards you. Try to bring all fingernails down to the ground, even your thumb. And then shake it out. All right, my friends, that was our functional core class. So let's just take a moment to close. You can sit in whatever position feels comfortable. Taking one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly, connecting to our strong, stable center so that we have more freedom of movement through our lives. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.